into it. Let's have a day. It's crazy how fast, we are growing. After I upload this video, that will officially be over 100 videos uploaded, which is crazy. As always, appreciate the love and support. I really do. Very big news coming today. Big announcement today. I'm very excited for that. And let's get into it. Let's have a day. So you can see here on SPY, two things we're waiting for is that or a break and retest over that. I would prefer this just because, 3 days in a row, we have been in between these two key levels. So, I prefer us to, kind of start to get out of this. We're not consolidating, but this is just a better, higher probability shot, in my opinion. So I'll be looking for a long over 685, 25, but right, pre-market game plan, you can't go wrong looking for this. You can clearly see every time, we pull back here, it holds, or looking for that. That's the game plan. Now, Qs. Remember how I said yesterday, Qs is much stronger than the SPY? I spotted that very early in the week. And what do you see here? Now it is. So we kind of got our break and retest, during the pre-market. So, that's that. We're sitting kind of really above a daily double top here, which is 619.50. I'm just gonna round that to 50. But the A plus shot here, is right off the pre-market plan. If you watch that, you're just looking for this. That's all we're looking for. That's literally all we're looking for. If you were able to get in down here, now you're chilling, right? I always say you want to be in down here before you get up here. So coming into today, really the A plus shot here, the only trade I would be looking for is 617.20. A pullback long off of that is super solid, but you can clearly see Qs is strong. So IWM, patience pays. So, we'll see what happens, but the A plus long is going to be over 248.55. I love that it's a weekly level. It'll be a breaker structure as well. So I have an alert set there. Tesla, not touching it. Let's see. Today will be a big day for Tesla if we can, pretty much just get above here. Pretty much a daily double top. So, if we can get above here and continue higher, it'll be a solid day on Tesla. But as you know, I'm not touching that. Dead smack in the middle of the range. NVDA looks good. NVIDIA looks good. It does. In one sec. Unfortunately, NVIDIA's in this channel, but I mean, this was a solid play yesterday. I think one person actually caught this. I don't know how they caught it. I really don't, but someone actually was in this trade. Sent me a screenshot just saying that they took a trade off the key level. Um, I don't know where their entry point was, but they cashed out on this. But nevertheless, right, we pulled back our weekly level held, very important level. The bigger the level, I'm sorry, the bigger the time frame, the better the level. So it's a weekly level, and what does it do? Pushes it all the way back to the top of the range. That is solid. So coming into today, like I've been saying, I'm not touching this name under 184.50. I'm just looking for this, looking for that. Let me zoom out here, give you a little better visual on why this is pretty much a big deal, in my opinion. Because you can see every single time we push up into 184.50, right, sellers just step in. It's been a very long time now since we have been over 184.50. Let's see, it's been since the 19th of November that price is actually held above this. So it's been a while. It has been a while. So patient pays. I'm just looking for this break and retest for 184.50. We're at the top of the range again, which we have no problem doing. I want to see buyers step up and stay strong. We ended up pushing all the way down from this weekly level. But let me show you what I mean here. I try and give you visuals so it makes sense. Look what happens every time, right? We pull to the bottom of the range. We don't have a problem getting back up to the top of the range. That's not a problem at all. It's getting above 184.50. That's our problem. So you can see this weekly level, 173.15, it does its job every single time. Every time we come back down here, price literally pushes all the way back up to the top of the range. So that's not the problem. We just need to get, a good break and retest over 184.50. Now, of course, what are we going to be looking for? Proper displacement before the retest. Hope that makes sense. Apple, I'm really not expecting much today on Apple, but I have an alert set here. Probably set this like right here. Yeah, I'll probably set that right there. I typically set my alerts not dead smack on the level because I don't want to miss the trade. You know what I mean? So somewhere close enough that if it does pull back, I can catch that. But I mean, look at yesterday. Crazy day. So if today it just wants to chop around, I really won't be surprised. I'm not really expecting too much on Apple. And then AMD looks really good. AMD looks really good. Like I said, and this thing is sitting above the previous day high. I said this is the next A plus shot. So obviously this is going to be on my close watch as well. Right, breaking retest over 225. That is solid. That's a big trade. We're back to being bullish bias. We get over this. So right, if you got into a trade down here, now you're chilling. Once we're up here, if you apply the things I'm teaching you, the break and retest and how to trade it off of big levels, key levels, this is how you grow that small account. I really hope that makes sense. So I'm sitting on my hands today. If this thing pulls all the way back down to 214.85, I don't really care. Kind of just hands off. I want us to get over 225. I'll go here on the daily, right? Like this is the dip buy. This is another like big opportunity here. You kind of see this bull flag setting up. right? So if you can get in over 225, that's getting in at the bottom of this range before we get back to the top of the range. I really like this. We knew, if we got over 214.85, this thing would rip to the upside. I said this was the biggest RR trade because why? There's nothing in its way and so much thin volume. So it's filling that thin volume. It's doing really good. You're just looking for the break and retest over 225. And I love this as well. But this is also another big RR trade because the next key resistance level is 234.20. So that's another big RR trade. Really like that setup. So we're going to be patient here, but this is definitely going on the close watch as well. And then how could I forget Amazon? My apologies. So Amazon's breaking over this weekly level during the pre-market. I love the confluence here because it's the previous day high and a key level. So I will be watching Amazon as well. I will have Amazon on my close watch list as well, just because nothing really setting up on Apple and NVDA is still far away from my 184 key level. So this will be on my close watch list here as well. Got about a minute and 30 seconds here. It's funny when you've been trading for so long, you can kind of have an idea, like if you're already gonna have a cash day. We'll see if NVIDIA explodes, but NVIDIA is give me one sec. NVIDIA is pulling back. Like I said, I'm not touching that under 184. Amazon, big pullback here, so we'll see if it can get back over that and reclaim. But if it doesn't, hands off here, and then AMD, a little bit of a pullback here. So we'll see what happens. But if nothing sets up on these three, pretty much a cash day for me. Amazon does have some news you can see here, so we'll see. But yeah, the one I really want is AMD or NVIDIA, to be honest. So we'll see what happens here. About 10 seconds here. Spotting a little divergence here on Amazon compared to the market. Let's see if it can hold. It's definitely some divergence on NVIDIA. We need NVIDIA to get way to 184 though. 184.50, so it has some ways to go for sure. I'm looking at a video on the 15 minutes to my left. So we'll see. I'm not going to wag my toe too much because I've already showed you during the pre-market. NVIDIA doesn't have a problem getting to the top of the range. It has a problem getting above 184. So we'll see what happens here. Very strong open. Very strong open here. Check the news, see if this is like some news catalyst. Yeah, 30 minutes ago, some news here on the video. Not too bad. Let's see, today's Tuesday. We don't have any news today. Trump speaks at 11 a.m. my time. So the video looks good. The video looks good. Definitely has relative strength compared to the overall market. That's a fact. Good red to green here on AMD. We'll see. Nothing sets up on Amazon. I'm really not looking to touch this. AMD looks good too. AMD looks really good. Yeah, nothing on Amazon. This thing poured all the way back down. You can see here, all the way back down. So I'm watching both AMD and NVIDIA. This video looks the strongest though. NVIDIA. This is a big deal if we can get out of this. Remember, we're not going to wag our toe. We need to wait for proper displacement. It's actually the reaction I want to see here before a breakout. See what I mean? Let's get to the top of the range. That's easy. We keep doing that. I've already shown you that pattern. It's no surprise. But I want to see if we can actually get above this. Delta's at 47, 48. Yeah, one strike price out of the money looks good. Spreads are tight. Qs are strong, really strong. Not a single down close candle on Qs. SPY is chopping a little bit, but we've already spotted the divergence between Qs and SPY. I'm just showing you guys the 15-minute. I have it on my right hand side too. We need this candle to close above here. Qs is gone. Beautiful. Now the breakout may be so strong we may not get a retest. We're going to be patient, hold our water here. The bigger the displacement, the better. So this is a solid breakout. You can see Qs here is pretty much gone. I'm looking at AMD too. NVDA can move. This thing just moved from the bottom of the range, and we just broke above 184, so that's solid. I was just saying how it might be a cash day. It might. This might be something setting up. Remember, the way I trade, if we don't get a retest, I just see that setting up on the daily. So in the daily time frame, this is a big breakout displacement candle, and then the next day or the day after, we're just looking for the pullback. That's why I don't feel FOMO. I don't feel like I miss out. I understand that the way I trade, I'm trading off the daily, off the weekly time frame. So I understand these things. So that's why, like, for me, it's very easy to not get FOMO because I just see this as, okay, cool. If I don't get a retest, I'm just looking for this to set up tomorrow or the day after. I hope that makes sense. Open interest is about even. One strike is got way more volume. Not a single down close candle in the 2-minute um, on Qs. So we're gonna be patient, hold our water here, because this could be a fake out. We come back here and we don't retest that. That could be a fake out. IB looks good here on the video. AMD's holding up. It's definitely holding up. AMD's fighting, that's for sure. It's fighting. Yeah, just thinking a deep enough pullback here on NVDA. Not FOMOing into that. No, no. $27. It's not how you want this candle to close. Oh, it's a nasty candle. NVIDIA's definitely holding this. I just need a retest. Market's barely been open for 15 minutes, so patience, patience. I'm looking at AMD, honestly. One strike seems cool. Yeah, Delta's at 51. Volume's actually higher than at the money. I might play the 225 calls on AMD if I get an opportunity. The 225 is strong, very strong. We almost had a dollar breakout. If we would have closed up here, that would have been beautiful. NVIDIA's holding, but so it's funny the divergence that I'm actually spotting here on the market is really between AMD and Qs. AMD actually looks good. This thing opened up at 219, around that to 220. So it's moved almost $6. AMD has. I might play at the money cons if I get a setup here. SPY is back at the low a day, which is crazy. Yeah, if AMD gives me a setup, I might play at the money cons. Big if. Because the thing about AMD is this is the only name I'm actually spotting divergence on. I need this candle to close on the video. Both look good though. Yeah, I like AMD. I'm just gonna be patient here, see what sets up. This was a retest. That's just a proper stop loss. I'm spotting divergence here on the video though, compared to the overall market. Just gonna be patient here. Yeah, Q's and SPY's just pulling back, so might just be too heavy. It's trying to hold. Trying to be patient, hold my water. You can see this thing's definitely trying to hold. I don't know if it's trying to squeeze people out. So I'm trying to be patient here. Because the market's pulling back, but NVIDIA is holding. So trying to see if I can get like a pop on the overall market. This would be solid. The market is starting to bounce here, so I'm just trying to wait and see. Remember, as long as we're above our key level, everything else is noise. Our thesis is correct. I would love to see Q's kind of rip through this high day. SPY bounced at the lower day. The only thing that may cause this to reject is if Q's rejects the high day. But we're getting a solid bounce here on the market. Trying to be patient. It's uncomfortable, right? But I mean, that's trading. We sat through all the noise. We sat through the hard part. I want to see if we can get over this 185.05. Like I said, right now, Q's is like approaching the high day. So that's like the only way NVIDIA doesn't really push through. Like I'm up on my cons, but I don't care about that. This little hesitation you see right here is because this is Q's at the high day. That's literally that little hesitation. Okay, big rip on the Q's. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Yep, solid. Held through the storm. I meant to sell. I like that. Held through the storm. That was a good trade. That was a really good trade. I understood what I was looking at. I knew this thing was probably trying to fake me out. How much did we make on that? Yeah, solid day. Right off the pre-market plan. Plan your trade, trade your plan. Maybe I could have left some, but I didn't really care for that. That's pretty much a sell right into the high day. We held that full position. What a trade. That was a tough trade. But you guys were able to see what I meant, like in real time. Like all this crap is noise, bro. As long as we're above our key level we're risking off of, um, our thesis is correct. I knew to place, look at the stop loss here. At first it was a little too tight, but I knew to place my stop loss where a break of structure would be. A lot of traders think that they get faked out or they keep losing, but it's not necessarily that. It's stop loss placement. So you can see here, right? That's why I say you got to treat your key levels like mini zones. Because this thing tried to fake me out, but I know what I'm looking at. Like, okay, cool. This thing might try and squeeze me before it runs. Solid trade there. Yeah, that was textbook. Decent sell. Right? Like if you really want to milk your position, like now this candle would really be my new stop loss if you were in that full size. But nevertheless, it's a Tuesday and the video is moving a little slow, just a little slow on the underline. Because what I got in 184, push up 185. I did play one strike out of the money, but it's a Tuesday, so the contracts actually did their job. They held up fairly well. See, all this was noise. Very happy we were able to break this down together. And then for those who are wondering, like, why did I pick NVIDIA over AMD, even though I was looking at AMD, it's because remember if you watch my higher time frame key level video, the higher the time frame, the stronger the level. So like yesterday, right? Yesterday's a bad example because my thesis was correct. I ended up just getting squeezed out on SPY, but the best way to explain it is like I'm gonna take if I had to choose between a setup that's occurring on the 4 hour, the daily, and the weekly, I'm going to go with the weekly because not every single day you're going to get a break and retest on the weekly time frame. Does that make sense? So this was a weekly key level, right? And I know everything is easy to say in hindsight, so that's why I'm saying it now because you just saw me, you just traded with me live just now. But I didn't really panic too much here because I know, right? It's a weekly level. So these are things I mean when I say you got to give it some room. You got to understand, like, okay, cool. I'm trading on the weekly time frame right now. My entry's just on the 2 minute time frame, so I can't have too tight of a stop. I got to understand what I'm looking at. And peak drawdown here was like maybe 6%. So these contracts actually held their value pretty well. Like I said, I understand it's a Tuesday, so I wasn't really too worried about that. But I hope that makes sense. But this was solid. We sold pretty much into this push. On the 5 minute time frame, I'm looking at right? This is 15 minutes of just every time we push here into this low high day. See that? Every single time. Look at that. We push into that. There's sellers sitting up here. There's sellers, but we did good, like riding the momentum. We didn't freak out. We held our water. We were very patient. That's a super solid trade. Like we did that together. Like I really want to show you how, like just be cool, be calm, right? Like this thing pulls back, my stop loss is my safety net. It's not my job to be right or incorrect. I'm confident with every trade that I take because I have a stop loss. I just see my stop loss as protection, right? If my thesis is incorrect, cool, I get stopped out, I'll go about my day. So, we held this very well. We held our water here. We saw buyer step up. I took my shot here just because I don't want this thing to keep pulling back. And then what does that do? That widens my stop loss. So hope that makes sense there. And then that pop that you saw that we got, actually, I'll show you right now. Give me one sec. That was literally this. That was that high day pop here, um, breakthrough on Qs. Now remember yesterday I skipped AMD, even though that would have paid us very well because I don't like the context with the overall market. But see today, the context was there with the overall market, so I took it. Why? Because Qs was pushing up, right? This is a healthy pullback, right? We rally, pullback, continue higher. And not only that, what also gave me conviction on that play to even hold and not really panic. It's because SPY pulled all the way back to the lower day just now. And look, we're ripping through the high day. So when I see the overall market's like in my favor as well, and I'm spotting a little bit divergence, that's perfect. And that's exactly what I saw here. So I took my trade, right? Difference between skipping a trade and missing a trade. Yesterday, AMD set up beautifully, but I skipped it because I don't like the context with the overall market. I hope these things are starting to make sense. Solid day here, very solid day. And then, right, Kel, why did you sell where you sold? Because I'm seeing all this resistance to my left-hand side. You just got to look left, right? When the way I see it is when I look left, I'm looking at a cheat sheet because it's past history, it's past data, and history likes to repeat itself. So if I see sellers just chilling, around 185, all right, I'm not gonna force this trade and force to hold that. So there's no such thing as a perfect buy or a perfect sell, but you can clearly see for me to sell full size at this peak, that was a perfect sell. I mean, that was beautiful. That was literally textbook. So super solid trade. Very happy with that. But not only that, the main lesson here, and this is really what I want to like, some people are starting to get it, which is good, and I love that. The main lesson here is letting my trade come to me. You guys have been hearing me say, as long as we're under 184.50, I'm ignoring this. I'm not touching it. So I haven't taken a trade on NVIDIA in quite some time now, in quite some time. And then what happens? I let my trade come to me. It broke and retested 184. We took our shot. We made money, and then we go about our day, right? Patient pays. So, I've been having people ask me like, bro, what do you do to like have a high win rate percentage? And the answer to that is one, less trades. You guys know me. Really, I'm big on one and done. And two, I can sit on my hands for 3 days, 2 days, and not take a trade. So I'm trying to teach you, how to take high probability shots like we just took today. Be patient, let your trades come to you, and don't go into the day looking for a trade. I never go into the day looking for a trade. You know what I mean? Today I actually thought it was going to be a cash day. So I really hope that makes sense. But the biggest lesson here on this NVIDIA trade, it's not even about the win. Who cares about that? It's about us ignoring everything under 184. Staying to our rules. We ignore everything under 184. We don't trade channels because we're stuck in a channel on a daily, and we took our highest probability shot, which was a break and retest over 184.50, and that's what happens. I really hope that makes sense. Really, really hope that makes sense. So that's like the biggest lesson here. We held our water. We did really, really good. Everything else is noise. Look at that. That's beautiful. Peak sell right here. Beautiful. Full size peak sell. Very happy with that. Because now, right, I'm starting to spot divergence on NVIDIA and Qs, but NVIDIA actually looks weaker. Look at Qs right now. Look at Qs. Qs is breaking retesting over the high day. Breaking retest over the high day. Look at NVIDIA. Pulling back, dropping. Context matters. See what I mean there? Look at that. Solid trade, textbook. Hope you guys were able to learn a thing or two today. Big announcement coming today. Very, very excited for that. Big announcement coming today. And what a way to start the day. Now, tomorrow, right? Like the way I see this, I mean, the day is still very, very early. Very, very early. But tomorrow, you know what I'm looking for in the video? The same thing. Either a break and retest over 184, or let's say if we close above it today on the daily, a pullback long off of 184.50. Anything under 184.50, I'm hands off. I don't care. I don't care to take anything under that. We took our highest probability shot today, right? We took our highest probability shot. Let me go to the daily. See that? Every time we push into this, we just can't get a body of the candle close. We can't get above it. So that's what I'm looking for tomorrow, right? Same thing as today. We can get over 184.50. I'm taking my shot again because eventually it's going to hold. It has to hold eventually. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. But see the bull flag setting up here? Look how big our RR trade is if this thing holds above. That's just how I look at it, right? Big pullback here compared to QQQ, right? Plan your trade, trade your plan. I'm hoping a lot of people caught this today. Patient pace. AMD, I almost took this trade, to be honest. The only reason I did not take this trade, like I already said, is because NVIDIA was a weekly level. And I'm like, okay, I'm definitely gonna go with the stronger level. Definitely gonna go with the stronger level. And we're bullish. I mean, this is actually what you want to see anyway. Because, right, if you're applying what I'm teaching you, right, stick with me. Right now, you're looking at this and you're like, okay, perfect. This is setting up for tomorrow. This is a great confluence for tomorrow. Why? Because this is a daily level. This is a break of structure level. It's a confluence with the previous day high, and it's a dip buy. So this thing is screaming at me. This is still an A plus shot. So tomorrow, I love this even more, right? We'll be over the previous day high. It's a daily level. If we get back over this, we're now bullish bias back on it. You're getting it at the bottom of the range before we get back to the top of the range. So that's how I look at these. Like AMD is setting up. I don't see this as, oh, today was a crappy day, whatever. No, it's setting up. It's still holding, right? It pulled back. We ended up gapping up a little bit. We filled the gap. We held the previous day high. Super solid. And then remember, we're neutral in between 225 and 203, I believe. Yeah. But this thing is still moving higher, right? Pullbacks are expected. But this reaction at my key level, I love to see that before I get one of these. In my opinion, that's when I'm actually more intrigued. So, I mean, come on now. This thing is moving higher, right? It's moving higher. Now we're just waiting for that. Right over this. I love the confluence here. So tomorrow, we know what we're looking for. It's the same thing that we were looking for today. So I'm no longer, I don't care about a pullback to 214.85. If we stand at 225, I'm kind of just hands off now because the best trades were down here at the bottom of the range. If you caught that yesterday, kudos to you. The day before yesterday, all those things. But now 225 is just our key watch here on AMD. That's all we're waiting for. Yeah, very strong here on Qs, to be honest. Really strong here. Actually opened up around previous day high. Yeah, that thing just rocketed to the upside, bro. Rocketed. You guys know I don't trade off the previous day high or pre-market high and lows, but it held, and it didn't even open with a gap. So this thing like really just ripped to the upside. Qs has been very strong the last 2 days. I mean, look at yesterday, right? That's when I say when your A plus setups don't look like an A plus setup in the moment, but if you know what you're looking for, they are because this is our key level. That's why you want to take trades off of key levels. So if you're swinging these and you're playing the trend, right? I'm showing you, the big RR trades were no longer in a channel on the market. So as of right now, this thing went from 612 to 623. That is crazy. It's crazy. I took my shot yesterday on SPY. I played next day cons. I was looking to swing that as well. So I'm practicing what I'm preaching. But this thing is like, this is what I mean when I say, right, you want to be in a trade down here before you get up here. This is the hard part, quote unquote hard. Because now you got to kind of sit through this, you got to manage it. Once you get in here and you accept the risk and you embrace it, and you don't micromanage your position, as long as you're above your key level, your thesis is correct, right? You catch these big moves. I promise you, trading is a little bit easier when you don't look at your P&L. All you need to know is where your stop loss is. That's all you need to know. Yeah, it really didn't look like much was going to go on today. I was looking at Amazon. Nice little V-shaped recovery here, lower day bounce on Amazon. Really was looking at this. This was on my close watch list. We sold off, so I got rid of it. Less is more. I want to focus on as little as possible. Not as much as possible. I want to focus on as little as possible. I always want to have at least 3 to 2, preferably 2 names on my close watch list. Um, of course, when Tesla's in the mix, that's always going to be on my close watch list, but preferably 2. Speaking of Tesla, let's see. Yeah, Tesla did it. I mean, it pulled back and held the key level. It definitely pulled back. I mean, just this price action. You definitely would have got paid here. Kind of an aggressive entry. Not, yeah, kind of. Because this would have been roughly 5 minutes in the market open, but I mean, that's fine. And then you got this push into the high day, right? So you actually just showed you how to play reclaim. So on a name like this, or on a setup like this, you're going to play the reclaim. Why? Because you can see here and here, right? Actually, give you a better visual. Since it's a quick day, just trying to give you a quick lesson. You can see here and here, buyers actually did try and defend this. And then buyers did defend it here because we actually pushed right back up above the high day. So since buyers did show their hands and they actually defended our 429.45, when you pull back here, you're not looking for this again. Now you're just playing the reclaim. And this is what I mean when I say, sometimes the reclaim, 8 times out of 10, it's actually a better entry. Why? Because now I know, okay, cool. I'm gonna play the reclaim here. My stop loss is just gonna be this lower day. Because when you play the reclaim, you already see where the structure is, right? When you play this, it's a little bit more tricky, right? But then you can risk right under here. But on the reclaim, we've already had market structure developed. So it's like, okay, cool. I know where my lower day is. I can risk right under here. So I'm risking this much to make this much. And these contracts is Tesla, right? So they definitely did backflips, rip through the high day. That's a solid setup. So I hope that makes sense on, how to play the reclaim. I know that confused some people, but as long as our level holds and buyers actually step up and defend, and then we fell it, now you're just looking for the reclaim with momentum. With momentum. Hope that makes sense. So pretty much gonna call it here. Let me check out IWM. My alert didn't go off. So look at IWM, right? Or bullish bias. Like I said, you're just looking for pullback longs on the dot. On the dot. 246.15. If you caught that, kudos to you. You just got paid very well. Look at that. You're risking a candle closure, displacement candle closure right under 246.15. So, right, you're risking this much to make this much. See what I mean? R multiple. Trying to teach you, right? Don't focus on wins or losses. That doesn't even matter. Just focus on the biggest risk to reward trades. Every trade you take should have a big risk to reward. So you're risking, pretty much right under your key level here, very tight stop, and targeting the high day. And this thing pushed. It did really well pushing up. So solid day all around. Let's see what Google did. Yeah, Google's just chopping, which is good in my opinion, because this thing's just been on a crazy run. It's been gapping up. So we're just gonna let Google do its thing. Yeah, key level here, 317.40. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Google though. I'm gonna watch Google because you know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. That looks like a beautiful setup occurring, right? 317.40 to highs 328. That's a great RR trade. That's a great RR trade. So watching that on Google. All right, I will call it here. Hope you guys had a good day. A lot of the pre-market plans set up. If you were able to catch NVDA, kudos to you. Let me see what happened on Apple. Not expected. Yeah, Apple's still rallying, bro. Look at that. So it's gonna be a while until we trade Apple again, right? And then one thing I want to explain. Keep in mind, right? I know some people they're looking at the break and retest over previous day high, but man, you just can't be surprised if you get stopped out here because it's not a key level. It's a context level. That's how I look at it for context, but it's not a key level. Um, I hope that makes sense. But it's like if you get stopped out here, it's just like, man, well, you kind of just entered at an all-time high, literally at an all-time high. So I don't know, that's just too aggressive for me. But we're just gonna be patient here. But this is how less is more because now I come into the day. You saw me look at Amazon. Now that's gonna go into the rotation because now what are the two names that's out of our rotation? Apple and Tesla. So what does that leave? NVIDIA and AMD. So today, right, that's why I was looking at, Amazon or Google. I hope that makes sense. A lot of these names just go into rotation. Some of them become hot, then they cool off for a bit. So right now, it's going to take a while. I mean, it's early in the week, so we'll see how today and tomorrow goes, and then maybe we'll have a key level form on the 4-hour time frame for Apple. But other than that, really not much. Like the best entry on Apple is going to be at 279. Why? Because I'm getting in at the bottom of the range. That's your biggest RR trade. I want to get in down here before up here. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, I think that will do it. I think I've covered everything. Ended up being a squeeze here on NVIDIA. Buyers and hold, but we're looking for the same thing tomorrow. All right, big announcement coming today. Appreciate the love, support. Um, let's keep this thing going, right? Plan your trade, trade your plan, and I will see you guys tomorrow.